So let's look at how to play All the Small Things by Blink-182. Throughout the song you'll need 3 string power chords, sometimes 2 strings, but for the most part you'll need these shapes here. So first finger will take care of your lowest string, 3rd fret, 3rd finger on the 5th fret of the next string, little finger on the 5th fret of the next string. So it's just those 3 strings that you want to sound out. What you can do with this first finger is kind of use it like a capo, if you will, to block out those higher strings there, because we don't want this. That's not what we're looking for at the minute. You just want those 3 lower strings sounding out. And that's how the song starts. And when you're looking to move between the chords in this, try and maintain that posture, okay? Don't like place them one by one, then lift them, replace them. You know, that takes too long. I know it's difficult at times to maintain that, but just try and move those shapes around. So here is the start of the song, slow. So you've got a slightly different shape from the ones we've used so far, just at a certain point. This chord here, 3rd fret of the 4th string, just use your first finger, 3rd finger's over there on the 5th fret of the 3rd string, little finger has to go over to fret 6 of the 2nd string. And you get that bright sounding chord there. You do 4 downs in this. Then move the pinky back to form just a normal power chord shape. Do 4 downs there. Then another thing to note, at the end of the intro, there's some palm muting. So what that means is you go to the open A string, and instead of letting those notes sound out like this, you're going to lay this part of your hand across the strings, dampening the sound, and you've got to kind of find a sweet spot for you on whatever guitar you're using. You keep it stuck to the strings as you play the strings. And you get this nice chunky sound. Now, you have to find the right spot for you. I'm right over there on the bridge, in my case, to get that sound that I want to sound like the song. So you've got to try and find the right spot for you, depending on the size of your hand and the guitar that you're using. Then into the verse, so with just 2 string power chords here, moved around, and you're palm muting the majority of the time here. So it goes like this slowly. And just at the end of all that, there's a little pre-chorus, I call it, where you move to this power chord from the 3rd fret of your 5th string and give it a quick group of strums like this. A quick down, up, down, and then that one that just hangs on, you've just got to keep that going until the chorus kicks in. And here's the chorus. So most of it is just moving around your 3-string power chord shapes, okay? So you check the tab and you try and follow that. Then at the end of it, or what's called octave chords or sometimes unison chords, where it's almost the same shape as the power chord, okay? So for the first chord, you'll need first finger at the 3rd fret of the 5th string. Then it's up to you what you use here. You could use the 3rd finger over there on fret 5 of the 3rd string, or the little one. I tend to do it this way, 1st and 3rd. Now the important thing here is the only strings we want sounding out are the ones with your fingers on it. All the other strings ideally should not be sounding out. So there's a lot of other things to pay attention to here to try and benefit your overall playing. This first finger should just be kind of lazily hanging over the other strings, so that note that's X'd out, okay, a dead note should just be blocked by that first finger. Then those skinny strings at the high end of the guitar, you're not using them, so they should be blocked. The first finger can nudge against that low E string to block it out as well. So it means you can kind of get a bit more aggressive with your strumming here, you know, because it's a very upbeat, high energy song, but all those other notes are blocked out except the ones that you want sounding. If I didn't do all that muting, it'll sound all horrible and rubbish. So you've got to get that muting in. Now that's most of the parts done, but there's a few other bits I'll go through. So there's an interlude, I call it, just before a bit in the middle of the song that you have to do some heavy palm muting on. So for this, you just play this chord here, a 3-string power chord from that 3rd fret of the A string. Let that hold for 2 bars, okay? Then the chord after it is just a kind of variation of that. Just take off the 3rd finger then. So it's going to be 3 and 3 with your first finger and 5 over there with your little finger. So first chord. Second chord. Last one, just move that shape up 2 frets. And that's just to build a bit of a crescendo there at that point. This kind of stuff sounds real good with a nice heavy distortion on your amp settings. You know, really sounds powerful, hence the word power chords, especially if you get it nice and clean. So then after that, there comes a part with some more of the palm muting, okay? I mean, you can use various ways to do this. I'll just show you the way I would do it. For the 5s that you need to play, just use the first finger and bar those 2 strings. And you can also use it to kind of block out the other ones, but you shouldn't need too much muting here. And all you're doing, instead of letting those notes sound out normally, you're just muting it. So get that muting position over there. I tend to do it just with downs actually when I do the muting. So just see if you can get that going. Then you just have to make a slight adjustment. You want 4 on the 3rd string and 5 on the 4th string for the other part of it. So you just might have to shift at that point. You're doing the same muting. So put that together. That's what you're looking for there in that part. Now just towards the end of that section, although I don't have it on my tab, when you listen to the song, you'll notice the palm muting kind of loosens, so you can kind of back the hand away to just make them sound out like normal. Just kind of open it up a bit there. And then the rest of the song comes around, so I'll just play through it to the end slow for you. So just for the last little different bit in the song, you'll have some palm muting to do whilst you're holding down these power chords. Now when you see things like that on tablature, it's kind of implying that you're just keeping the chord shape planted. You'll palm mute the lowest note in those wee chords, but then give the chord some hits after it. So it's very common in like rock and punk and metal. But just keep the chord planted is what I'm saying. You don't have to do like this. Just keep the shape sitting there. That kind of thing.